So now I'm going to show you how to do custom geometry and layers within video. And this is something that I have been using a lot in my shows. It does take more work when you're setting up because you need to know what the dimensions of the screens you'll be using. In most cases, most of you will. However, I'm constantly working in different venues with multiple surfaces and different shapes and sizes, so it takes me about another 30 minutes to do all this, but it is well worth it. But let me show you how you can do layers of basically PNG files of video. Now, an alpha channel in video is actually called a ProRes 4444 video. So if you have a single graphic in Final Cut, and you put the single graphic there and you export it, it'll have a black background and the graphic, which is the entire video. If you want to put the graphic only, like a PNG file where the logo can be seen through, you're going to export that only as an alpha channel, which is ProRes 4444, which allows that alpha channel to take place. I believe it's pretty intensive on your hardware of your Mac, and your memory and your RAM and all that. So make sure you have a high enough quality computer to handle this. If not, you can always edit the video how you want it in Final Cut with the layers and then export it. But in my particular case, I'm doing too many different changes that I need to have full control over it in the live show. Let's look exactly how we're going to do that right now. All right, so I'm going to show you how to use multiple layers of video on top of each other by doing something very similar to this. And I do this a lot in my shows. So I'm going to use a video background right here. And it's just a looping video of a smoke effect. So you can see here I have it on infinite loop. It's just going to keep looping over and over and over. We also have one of the original footage that I've created for one of our shows called Extreme Vegas, and it was one of our dancers named Jenna, and we actually filmed her the green screen backdrop, and that went with the choreography of the other dancers. So in our show we had 6 dancers, but the audience actually saw 12. So if we actually fire that, you can see that she goes right on top of that smoke, which just looks awesome. Now, I built some shadows into there because I don't use the smoke graphic. I actually use a flat graphic, and it looked really cool, like as if they were three-dimensional coming off of the backdrop. This smoke graphic is not what I use for the show. So we're going to highlight Jenna, and we are going to hit display and geometry, and we're going to hit custom geometry. Now she gets super tiny. And we're going to be able to move her around in live action. The video is still playing. And we're going to be able to put her right there. All right. Okay, like that. And you can see the sizes here. So let's go to, make it exact, 1.4. And that's exactly the size she's going to be. And then Emily, we're going to do Emily's version at custom geometry. We're going to do 1.4 to match. And we're going to put her there. See, I can see my screen over here where I'm going to put each image. So now let's make a group and put all those into the group together. And because we set the settings correctly before, it's starting all children simultaneously because we already did that before in the master settings. But if it doesn't, you have to go here and make sure they all start automatically. And then another thing I would strongly suggest is to build everything with a load queue so that everything loads properly. So enable this, go to settings, hit general, and hit enable auto load for new cues. You want the cues to load. It kind of helps them run smoother. Now, I am currently exporting video from compressor in the background while I'm doing this, so my computer is completely overloaded right now. So it's not going to run as smooth as it should, but you can also force a load by highlighting the group. Alpha group, name that. I'm just going to highlight the alpha group, and I'm going to hit the letter L. The letter L is load. And it will see the 4 little yellow load cues. It now means that those are kind of like spinning and ready to go in the background, and all the RAM is ready to go with that. You don't have to wait for it to like load up. So if I hit audition, now the backdrop will come in slowly, and the girls are dancing in the same exact timings as they should, and they're in perfect sequence. However, Emily is not too far, not far enough over to the right. So if we go over here grab Emily's file, and then we can actually move her slightly over, just like this. Except both girls are facing the opposite, the same direction. And in my show, I don't want that. I want them both facing my wife, who is doing the levitation, in the middle. So if I grab Emily, and let's see, which one is it again? That one. Okay, you're going to press Y, and you're going to rotate Y. Man, she is super skinny. And you're going to rotate around to 180 degrees, which I find is just way easier if you type in 180 degrees. And now, if I stop these, so now if I highlight that, I hit load again, and spacebar to fire it. Both girls are now facing the opposite directions, which makes them both perform to the center, which looks so much cleaner and nicer. And the reason that I didn't just film them that direction is because I can have 4, 5, 6 versions of the different dancers, and I'll put each girl where I want them facing what direction at any time. And obviously the size of the LED wall or the screen that you use will drastically change the size of the girls. So I don't put them in the video and make one single video, because it's never going to work. I want the backdrop to have the full backdrop effect, and I want the dancer to be life size for the show. Same thing can go with a graphic in the middle. So let's put that up there. And this is also a video, so I currently have 4 videos playing at once right now. And you can go into custom geometry, and we're going to go to times and loops, make sure it's infinite loop, custom geometry, and we're going to make that up there, and we're going to zoom in a little more, and we could do that like that. We could even put it in between them, like so. I mean, it's just, there's so many possibilities of what you'd want to do. I mean, just look how cool that looks. That's all being done in Qlab, and it just looks phenomenal. And now the shadows and stuff I did, that's not in Qlab, that's actually in my editing software in Final Cut when I created those. But you can do as many versions of this as you want and create the backgrounds, and there's so many things you can do with this layered in these alpha channel videos. I will strongly suggest making sure you have a load time on there. But as you can see, there is a lot of cool things you can do with multiple layers on single surfaces. We'll get to multiple surfaces later, because that will change, and there's a few disadvantages to using Audition Window with multiple surfaces, but we'll get to that very soon. I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you at the next one.